Hi guys, this is Vysh from Vysh IAS and we are going to continue our Geography NCRT series. Class 6th and Class 7th is already uploaded. Please watch that before watching this. So today we are going to do Class 8th, Chapter 1 and 2 in one video. This is the cover page which you see here of this particular textbook of Class 8th NCRT. So we'll first show you the index of this Class 8 textbook. There are 6 chapters, but totally if you see there are 75 pages. So we'll see how many videos we need to finish off this. And this book is really important with respect to UPSC, more compared to 6th and 7th, because most of the syllabus portions of our UPSC is in sync with this textbook. Okay, we have the distribution of resources, whether it be the natural resources or the minerals across the world, across India. Everything is there in detail in multiple chapters. The agriculture growth, industry growth, many things are very important for UPSC. So please make notes if required, because we are going page by page and we'll be scrolling down. So anything you need to make a note, like any place name or any location name, anything which you think which is important for UPSC. Anyway, I'll be telling you, but please make notes, okay, when we proceed with this chapter. Okay, so let's begin chapter 1. It's on resources. The first 3-4 chapters are everything on resources only. First is a generic one with a small introduction. So we'll quickly go through the chapter 1 first. Then we'll see in detail in chapter 2 what and all we have to deal. Okay. So here first itself, this box you can see patent. Okay, patent is a very favorite topic of UPSC also. So this is just a basic definition of what patent means. It means the exclusive right over any idea or invention. Okay, anything which you claim like it's your idea or something, and then there will be an authorized body to give you patent for it. Like for medicines and all, there are a lot of companies getting the patent for 20 years, 30 years and all, and so during that time nobody else can make that medicine. Okay, that is the basic meaning of patent. The details about patent, what is evergreening of patent, or how the generic medicine issue is there, all these things are current affair things, and we'll see in detail in higher classes and when we do current affairs or MCQs. Okay, now we'll just go with the basic definitions. So basically they are telling about two things. One is utility and one is value. Okay, both these are the two things which decides whether something is a resource or not. Okay, so like if something is useful for you, like the water, electricity, rickshaw, vegetable, textbook, anything which you do, like even the mobile or laptop you're using now, which all you're using now is a utility. So that means that thing is a resource. Okay, utility makes a substance a resource. And another thing, value again means worth. Like if something has a value, economic value, then it also can be called as a resource. Okay, but something you admire a beauty of some place or some picture, then that cannot be called as a resource. It's just you are visualizing it. But if it has a value, then and it is having a use, then it is called resource. Okay, utility and value, basic things. Now again, glossary, technology. You know what is technology? It is an application of latest knowledge and skill in doing or making things. Okay, just using the latest knowledge, that is technology. Time and technology are two factors, important factors that can change substances into resources. Okay, like something which was not what to say, a resource long time ago can be a resource later. Like for example, many what to say, home remedies which you do for your small illness or some treatment which your grandmother someone suggests at home or something, those are all not considered resources. Okay, in the global level. Okay, that is something which you do common in the household or within the four walls of the room. But suppose some other company in today's age takes the same thing and puts it in a jar or a box, and then gets a patent for it and then sells it in the market, then that becomes a resource. Okay, so that is the difference. So with time and with technology, things can change from a substance into a resource. Hope you got the idea. Okay, so both are related to the needs of the people. People themselves are the most important resource. Okay, so that is also one thing. Humans themselves is a resource. Okay, human resource, which we have a different chapter itself for human resource in this textbook. We'll see. So this picture also you see, like you are a resource too. So a human resource, like many countries in the world also, like for example Japan, they are developed or they are in the top five or six economies always, because they do not have resources. Okay, they don't have the metallic resource, they don't have the agricultural resource, but they have invested a lot in their human resource, and that is why they are very hardworking people. And even the office timings, if you know people working there, they'll have more office timings compared to any other country in the world. Okay, and they're dedicated to their work. So that is about human resource. So we'll see types. natural, human, and human made. Okay, we'll see three types: natural, human, and human made. So natural resource, you know, whatever is available in the nature, like minerals or the rocks or whatever you get from the nature, the water sources and all. So that is natural resources. So within natural resources itself, they have two types. Okay, actual and potential. They are telling actual resource and potential resource. So what is the difference? Actual resource is like whose quantity is known. Okay, like we'll tell like this much coal is there in this mine, or this much soil is there in the Deccan Plateau. So you know that something is there. So that is actual resource. But potential resource means the entire quantity may not be known. Okay, entire quantity may not be known, and these resources could be used in the future. Okay, like in earlier times, the wind energy and all, people did not know like we can create electricity with wind energy or solar energy. Okay, so that time it was just a potential resource only. But now in the present day, you know, even India is focusing a lot on renewable energy. So that is what they are telling. High speed winds were a potential energy 200 years ago, but today it is an actual resource. Okay, so that is the difference between potential resource and actual resource. Again, a lot of examples they are giving, but we just need to understand the concept. Okay, based on the origin, again they are kind of classifying it as abiotic and biotic. You know this environment concept. Abiotic means non-living and biotic means living. Okay, and natural resource, again renewable, non-renewable. These are different ways which you can classify resources. Okay, because we have unlimited resource around us, so we have to know it's actually limited resource around us, but unlimited varieties of resources. Okay, so stock of resource, it is the amount of resource available for us. So it's just again a term, stock. Then renewable, non-renewable, you know, renewable is something which gets replenished. Okay, which will again occur even if you use it again. Nature itself will recreate it, or it will again happen, like the wind or water and all. Okay, non-renewable is something which is limited, and once you use it, it is gone. Okay, it is over. So again, examples they would have given here: coal, petroleum, natural gas are some examples of non-renewable. Okay, it is all exhaustible, it will get over. Then important thing in this chapter, human made resources. Okay, human made and human are different. Okay, human made is something which humans make, like people use natural resources to make buildings, bridges, roads, machines. So for our utility or our purpose, we create a lot of things. That is human made resources. And then what is human resources? Human resources is the human themselves. Okay, people are human resources. Okay, so like I told, various countries are, like even India now, they are doing focusing on the skill development and skill missions and all, because human resources is the only way which a country can reach a top level. Okay, it's not just simply manufacturing sector or service sector or anything which you are doing since ages. You have to be skilled to the latest technology and the latest whatever is coming in the market. People should be ready for that. Okay, India being a young nation with the best demography, you can tell, they are going to be the most youngest nation in the coming years. So people has to be skilled. Okay, here again they are defining the same thing. It deals with both mental and physical ability. Okay, not just mental, it's mental and physical ability both. That's how skilling of humans and all, basic things only, whatever I told you. Conserving resources. Okay, so again there can come a time when even whatever we have around us, like we take it for granted, right? The water, the wind, or whatever is there around us, we take it for granted, but we should know like all these things can exhaust at any time. Okay, even yesterday's current affairs, if you have seen it, the scientists are claiming that now we are going through a phase of mass extinction. Okay, the sixth mass extinction. The previous one, when the dinosaurs got extinct, was the previous one. Now the sixth one is going on, and people are not even realizing it, that many animals are getting extinct, that many damage is happening to the environment. This and all people are not realizing. So that is what, about conservation of nature. Okay, again about sustainable development, our UPSC keeps on asking question about it. The SDG goals are there now, sustainable development goals. So basically it means carefully utilizing the resources so that besides meeting the requirements of the present, also takes care of future generation. This is what we learn in the current affairs also. We can use resources, but make sure that it's available for the future also. Okay, so that is sustainable development, for leaving something for the next generation. That is called sustainable development. Then again, these are all stories kind of thing, not required. Some principles of sustainable development: respect and care for all forms of life, improve the quality of human life, conserve the earth's vitality and diversity, minimize the depletion of natural resources, change personal attitude and practices towards the environment, enable communities to care for their own environment. So these are all simple tips, same things only. You have a little bit more elaborately write and make answers for sustainable development in our mains answers. Okay, you may feel like these are very silly points or very simple things, but UPSC is asking you only these silly things only, but you have to write it in a more presentable way. Okay, so this is, I think, all about this chapter. Second chapter we'll go in detail now, where we have a lot of things. I think there should be some few silly MCQs. Okay, here, which one of the following does not make substance a resource? So utility and value, we know it is making a resource, so it's not quantity. Okay, because there can be lot of quantity of many unwanted things, which is not a resource. Which one of the following is a human made resource? So medicines are human made. Complete the statement. Biotic resources are derived from living things. Okay, these are all not required for us, but just to finish off the textbook I'm doing. Okay, there are many things like you can see why are these are actually UPSC proper questions. Why are resources distributed unequally over the earth? Okay, we have in GS1 we have a topic itself, a distribution of resources around the globe. Okay, so this kind of thing only UPSC will ask in a more elaborative way. They'll put some statement and tell like substantiate, elaborate, something like that. So this is about chapter 1, where we saw the basics of resources. Now we'll see chapter 2, which is, I think, little more detailed about land, water, soil and all the resources. And the third chapter is even bigger, that I'll do separately, where we'll have all the minerals, all the coal deposits, copper deposits, all very important. So that video will be even more interesting. So here again, I think land, yeah, we are beginning with land. So if you see, land is among the most important natural resource. It covers about 30% of the total area of the earth's surface. You know, like remaining 70% is full of water. So 30% is land. And here in this box, you should see something like 90% of the world population occupies only 30% of the land area. That means already we have only 30% land. Within that 30%, almost everyone are living only in 30% within that land. Okay, remaining place, that means many places are sparsely populated or uninhabited, but people are located in the same area, like maybe fertile land or near the banks of a river. So you know, that is how every civilization also started. Indus Valley civilization or the Mauryans, Guptas, everyone were closer to the river regions. Other regions were sparsely populated. So that is how land distribution is there in terms of population. Uneven distribution of population is different parts of the world is mainly due to varied characteristics. Again, it's because of land and climate that variation is happening. Rugged topography, steep slopes, low-lying areas. So this is telling the different forms of land. Okay, desert, thick forest. So these all decide like why there is population in some place, why there is population in lesser quantity in some other place. So this is again a beautiful picture of Austria in Europe. So if you can see, they are just showing the land use, how land is used in multiple ways. Houses are built, or farms kind of thing are there. Green pasture land is there, or they are just forest areas there. So they are just using the land according to their needs. Okay, so that is land use concept. Land use is used for different purposes, such as agriculture, forest, mining, building houses, roads, setting up of industry, etc. Okay, this is commonly called land use. Use of land is determined by physical factors such as topography, soil, climate, minerals, availability of water. So these all will decide what to do in a particular piece of land. Okay, here in selected countries they are showing. Okay, so if you see cropland, India, if you see, it's highest here, 57% of land used as cropland. Pasture, if you see, Australia is highest. Forest, if you see, Japan, there is a lot of forest area. Other uses, Canada have a lot of other uses other than forest, cropland or pasture, maybe urbanization or maybe some other industry, something else. Okay, so like that, it's, you don't have to remember any numbers, but it's all unevenly distributed. So just to show that difference only, this table is formed. Okay, land can be classified on the basis of ownership. You can, you know, like private land is there where individual will be owning, or community land will be there, which is like everybody is sharing for common uses like fruits, nuts, medicinal herbs they are telling. Okay, so common property resources. So community land and private land. Then people's demand are always growing, so they will be having different uses. That kind of stories they are telling. Again, different pictures just for understanding cities and villages, rural areas versus urban areas. Conservation of land resource. Growing population and their ever-growing demand has led to a large-scale destruction of forest cover and arable land, and has created a fear of losing this natural resource. So you know, forests are being cleared by people. Humans are always destroying places and then not even thinking to replace it with another forest. That is why we have new rules and all. Campa rules is in news, compensating the afforestation. That is there in news. Amendment is happening to the bill. Please follow current affairs. So that means it's actually basically meaning like if you cut this many trees, you have to equally grow another set of trees somewhere else. Okay, for any purpose if you use, you have to replace the trees. That is Campa bill. Okay, landslides, they have given a table. Landslides also UPSC have asked questions multiple times. So you know it is the mass movement of rock, debris or earth down a slope. Okay, in hilly areas, Ladakh, Leh and all, you know, like it's common. Okay, Uttarakhand. So a prolonged spell of rainfall can cause heavy landslide that can block the flow of river for quite some time. Okay, even when rocks come and fall, it will even block rivers. Formation of river blocks can cause havoc to the settlements downstream on its bursting. Okay, so it's creating havoc to the settlements. Hilly terrains landslides have been a major and widely spread natural disaster that often strike life and property and occupy a position of major concern. So again telling it is a disaster kind of thing. Case study they have given, not important for us. For ethics paper, for case study, they often come up with these kind of disaster management thing, like suppose you are the district collector of some place and such a thing happens, then how will you manage? It has been asked 2-3 times, so you should know. Even in interview it is asked. Okay, many toppers interview, if you have been reading, you will know disaster related at least one question, like how will you manage flood, how will you manage drought. That question is definitely asked to every aspirant who reaches the interview stage. Okay, so you should know. So here some mitigation mechanisms are given. You can write in your mains answer also, like how to cope up with landslide issues. So hazard mapping to locate areas prone to landslides, hence such areas can be avoided for building settlements. So mapping should be done properly to understand where the landslide occurs frequently, so that settlements can be done somewhere else, not near these areas. Construction of retention wall to stop land from slipping. So this kind of retention walls in most of the hill stations and all, you know, this will be there. Okay, so that rocks don't fall off. Okay, this is human created wall. Increase in the vegetation cover to arrest landslides. So again, trees and all will bind the soil tightly, so that kind of erosion kind of thing or stone falling down and all can be stopped. So increasing the vegetation cover. The surface drainage control works to control the movement of landslide along with rainwater and spring flows. So drainage control works also they are telling, okay, to control the landslide. So those 4 important points you can use. Again, with current affairs and other materials which you learn, you can add more points, and that is how you form an ideal answer. From wherever you get data, please start making notes. Okay, don't think everything will be given in one point to you from a particular PDF material, because suppose you are buying a coaching material, 100 or 1000 or lakhs of even other students are buying the same coaching material. So what is the difference between you and them? Okay, everybody will be writing same 8 or 10 points. So when you get different points from different sources, add it to that point. That is why I told you to start writing answers. If you have already written an answer on landslides, and when you read this, now I gave you some 3-4 points which may be not present in your answer, you can add it to that same paper. So that is how you build up your answer, and by the time of mains you will have the perfect answer with you, and which will be unique to you. Okay, everybody won't have that answer which you have written. Okay, so try to follow that. Now land, a little more detail. Soil, they are telling the thin layer of grainy substance covering the surface of the earth is called soil. It is closely linked to land. Landforms determine the type of soil. Soil is made up of organic matter, minerals and weathered rocks found on the earth. This happens through the process of weathering. So what is weathering? It's given in this box. Weathering is the breaking up and decay of exposed rocks by temperature changes, frost actions, plant, animals and human activity. So anything which causes the decay of exposed rocks and breaking down, that is called weathering. Okay, again a picture. This picture is there in almost every small class textbooks. Topsoil with humus and vegetation, subsoil with sand, silt and clay, then weathered rock material, then is the parent rock. Okay, from there only everything is starting. Okay, and you should know it takes hundreds of years to make just 1 centimeter of soil. Okay, it's a very lengthy process, like each layer of soil is formed. And these are the factors, the simple table, even in your geography answers and all, you can do this. One table will tell everything. Okay, factors determining the formation of soil. This has been asked in UPSC also. Okay, it's present in our 8th standard textbook, so you should know UPSC is asking very basic things. So parent rock is one thing which decides the soil's texture, the chemical properties, the mineral content, permeability and all those things. Climate, again, temperature, rainfall, weathering, humus formation, this all will again decide. So try to remember these headings alone: parent rock, climate, relief, that is the altitude, the accumulation of soil and all those things. Flora, fauna, microorganisms. You know, the humus formation needs organic matter, so that is also one deciding factor. Time, of course it will take a lot of time, so time also will define what kind of soil is there, whether it's a loose soil, whether it's binding soil or whatever. Okay, so that these are all important factors, please make a note. Parent rock, climate, relief, flora, fauna and time. Degradation of soil and conservation measures. Soil erosion and depletion are the major threats to soil as a resource. Both human and natural factors can lead to degradation of soil. Factors which lead to soil degradation are deforestation, overgrazing, overuse of chemical fertilizers or pesticides, rainwash, landslides and floods. Okay, these are all points which we need in our answers. And different types are there. UPSC multiple times have put these things either in options or as a direct question in prelims. Okay, mulching, contour barriers, rock dam, terrace farming, much more are there. I'll show you. So mulching means the bare ground between plants is covered with a layer of organic matter. Okay, the bare ground, it is covered with some organic matter like straw. Okay, they'll place it. What it will do, it will help to retain the soil moisture. Okay, because these straws which is placed on the soil, which will keep it dry and it will retain the soil moisture inside it. Okay, so that is mulching. So you should know this. It has been asked. Contour barriers, stones, grass, soil are used to build barriers along the contours. Contours means boundaries. Along the boundaries, these things are used, stone, grass, soil, to build barriers. Okay, trenches are made in front of the barrier to collect water. So some kind of thing will be formed at the borders. So their water will be collected. That is contour barriers. Rock dam, rocks are piled up to slow down the flow of water. Again, it's literally understood. This prevents gullies and further soil loss. So it is just rock dams. So pictures, if you see terrace farming we'll read next. Terrace farming, it will be there in northeast or it will be there in Kerala, places where we have the tea gardens and all. This terrace farming is very common and it's very beautiful to see also in real. So broad flat steps or terrace are made on the steep slope so that flat surfaces are available to grow crops. They reduce surface runoff and soil erosion. So this will prevent that surface runoff. Okay, and this is contour plowing, where we have the definition here. Contour plowing is plowing parallel to the contour of a hill slope to form a natural barrier for water to flow down the slope. So again, it's same like contour border. What was the other one? Contour barriers only, but this is in the hill slope. Okay, contour plowing. Intercropping, you know, intercropping, crop rotation, multi-cropping. There are different terms in agriculture. I think in my Ramesh Singh video of chapter 8 agriculture, I would have told about it. Please watch that series. Intercropping, different crops are grown in alternate rows. Okay, it's like everything is grown in the same season only. Like one row will be one crop, another row will be another crop. Crop rotation is a different thing. Crop rotation means at one season you will grow only one crop, then after it is harvested, then another something else is grown. Okay, so that the nutrients are replenished. Okay, that is another process. So crop rotation is different from intercropping. Okay, this is shelter belt. Okay, what you see in picture, like in the border like this, you will grow the trees. Okay, in the coastal and dry regions where like wind is more, growing of trees, the rows of trees are planted to check the wind movement to protect the soil cover. Okay, so this will block the winds which are coming. So these are very important things. Please make notes. Okay, shelter belt, contour plowing, intercropping, terrace farming. Then what we saw, mulching, contour barriers, and rock dams. Okay, so that was about soil. I think next is water. Okay, water is a vital renewable natural resource. 3/4 of the surface is covered with water. It is therefore approximately called the water planet. That we know. It was in the primitive oceans that life began almost 3.5 billion years ago. So it was in the oceans that the first life form began. Even today, the ocean covers 2/3 of the Earth's surface and support a rich variety of plants and animal life. The ocean water is, however, saline and not fit for human consumption. Fresh water we know only about 2.7%. That too, most of them is there in the glaciers or the ice caps. Okay, in rivers and groundwater we have very less. That is why water is not present everywhere, and people are misusing it also. Okay, this is about consumption of water. Some data, like it has been increasing over the years. Then 70%. Okay, as I told, ice sheet. 1% of fresh water is available for human use. Groundwater, surface river. Fresh water is therefore the most precious substance on earth. Water can neither be added nor subtracted from the earth. Its total volume remains constant. Okay, its total volume remains constant because if you lose somewhere, it will be there somewhere else. Okay, whether it be evaporation or condensation, the whole cycle remains within the earth only. Again, telling how much water is wasted every year. Okay, so we have to do certain steps to conserve water. Again, lot of activities, not much important. Everywhere, agriculture, industry, generating electricity, dams, food, cash crops, urbanization, everywhere water is being used and wasted. That is what they are basically explaining. Water availability, scarcity of water. Here again a place in city, I think in Saurashtra, they are telling like people are purchasing water there. Okay, they don't have water and they are purchasing water. For every what is a drop of water, you need to pay money. Okay, water availability. Again about droughts and different places, there is nothing factual or nothing you have to retain from here. That's why I'm just scrolling through. Conservation of water resources. If you see here, this river Yamuna getting polluted due to sewage, industrial effluents and garbage. You know the Namami Ganga mission is there, Namami Brahmaputra is there. Government is taking a lot of steps because water is a very precious resource like we see, and it has to be protected. Okay, not only just for the visual beauty or something, the Swachh Bharat or something is done. It is done for so that the overall health and overall life can sustain on this country or whether the planet. Okay, so importance of water conservation is too much high than we can imagine also. I don't think much points are there. Again treating effluents, these are all we'll again do in detail anyway, that's why we don't need this from class 8 level reading. Water sprinkler, natural vegetation and wildlife. Rainwater harvesting is a process of collecting rainwater from rooftops and directing it to an appropriate location where it is stored for future use. Okay, so collecting the rainwater on rooftop and then later using it for something else, that is called rainwater harvesting. That is being promoted in most cities also, especially by the district collectors and all. They are taking a lot of steps in different districts. So when you also become an officer, you will have to focus on such activities where we can protect the environment. Biosphere, hydrosphere, ecosystem and all, these are basic definitions we have already done in previous chapters. Vultures in the Indian subcontinent were dying of kidney failure shortly after scavenging livestock treated with diclofenac. This is a UPSC prelims question actually, already asked, like which species is dying because of this medicine. It's actually a cattle medicine, but vultures, you know, it will be feeding on the dead bodies of these cattle. Okay, so what happened is that diclofenac remains were there in the body, and then vultures were having kidney failure and dying. Okay, so then government has banned this drug actually now, banned this drug, and then some other replacement is there now. I don't remember the new name or new drug name, but this is the story and it has been asked already. But because it's a UPSC thing, you have to remember. Okay, these are all different plant names and all, nothing related to conservation or UPSC level. Brahmakamal picture, you can see blue kingfisher. Distribution of natural vegetation. The growth of vegetation depends primarily on temperature and moisture. Okay, two factors which decides the natural vegetation. The major vegetation types of the world are forest, grasslands, scrubs and tundra. Okay, in class 7th textbook in detail we have seen in chapter 8, 9 and 10. Okay, different types of forest and grasslands across the world also we have seen. In areas of heavy rainfall, huge trees will be there. If it's less, there will be thorny shrubs. These are basic climatic things which you know. Python in the forest. Tundra vegetation is cold. Tundra, you know, it is the ultimate climate, okay, where it is near the poles and it will have only mosses and lichens. But if you know taiga is also called boreal forest. It's a different name, and it is it will have a lot of coniferous trees and all those things. But tundra is the ultimate one, where it is very less vegetation. Forests are broadly classified as evergreen and deciduous. Then all we have done in class 7th. Nothing new is there in class 8th. You don't have to waste time reading this. Black bug protection. I think in UP some steps have been taken recently. It was there in the news 1 month back. Please read on black bug. Check whether what is the status of it in IUCN, because that is how UPSC frame question. Whichever animal or plant is there in news, they will take the IUCN status and ask us a statement. Okay. There are a lot of newspaper cuttings of different happenings. National parks, wildlife sanctuary. This is more of our environment topic. Everything which is there in the news you need to know. It is asked every year. Okay, every year at least 2 questions out of 100 in your prelims has questions regarding this. Okay, natural. They'll have match the following mostly, or they'll form statements. Okay, like recently tigers were shifted from here to here. Last year 2017 there was this question, like from which tiger reserve to which they were moving some lions or some Asiatic lions or something they were moving. I think something in Gujarat they had asked. Okay, so because it was in news, they'll ask. This time also a lot of national parks are in news. We have 2 environment PDFs with MCQs, 200 MCQs dedicated for that. You can get it from our Facebook page. Please contact there. I'll give you the details. It will cover almost everything that is in news. Okay, and new PDFs are being updated also. So more and more questions will be there. nearing to prelims, we'll have lot of solved questions which you can just read it before the prelims. One Mahotsa, like this is something else today. I think some other Mahotsa was there in today's news. Confirm that and tell me in comments like whether you have read that or not. It's just a generic term, okay? It's not like related to any state or something you have to by heart. One Mahotsa is just telling the social forestry. Many countries have passed laws against the trade and killing of birds and animals. CITES convention, UPSC has asked 3 to 4 times in prelims. International CITES convention, it's actually legally binding, okay? That is one statement which UPSC always puts. CITES is a legally binding treaty, and one thing is that even though it is legally binding, it does not take the power of national laws, okay? Like suppose there is some clause here and there is another clause in your national law, the national law will prevail, okay? So that is the one statement. I am telling you exactly what statement UPSC has asked, okay? Like CITES, whether it will take preference above the national law or not. Biosphere Reserve, series of protected areas linked through a global network, okay, intended to demonstrate the relation between conservation and development. Biospheres, you know, in India, 18 major biosphere reserves are there, out of which 10 have been given UNESCO's status under the Man and Biosphere program, okay. That 18 names you should learn, it is important. I will anyway give you the table format in our Facebook page or in our CTS series when I do the series, but you should learn all the 18 names. The 10th one which got the status was Agasthyamala in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, okay. Kaziranga National Park is also in news always because of elephants or one-horned rhino and even tigers, okay. Kaziranga has a lot of status. UNESCO status is also there. It is a Biosphere Reserve, which is a cultural heritage site. Lot of things are there for this thing. CITES, again I told, it's international agreement between governments. It aims to ensure that international trade in specimens of wild plants and animals does not threaten their survival. So trade, it's not like banning the trade, it's just limiting the trade so that it does not threaten their survival, okay. So you should know that also, because UPSC will ask that way also, whether CITES bans the trade completely. Which one of the following is not a factor of soil formation? Time, we know it's a factor. Organic matter is a factor, but soil texture is not a factor. It's actually an end result, okay. The parent rock will decide the soil texture, so it's not a factor. Which one of the following methods is most appropriate to check soil erosion on steep slopes? So shelter belt, you know, like the trees we grow on the border. Mulching is that straws we use. Terrace cultivation is something which is used in the steep slopes. Which one of the following is not in favor of the conservation of nature? Switch off the bulb when not in use. That is not the answer. Close the tap immediately. That's also good for nature. Dispose polybags. So plastics and all which you go and dump on the ground, that is actually not good for conserving nature. So that is the answer. So this is all chapter 1 and 2. We'll come back with chapter 3 soon in a different video. So till then, have a nice day.